Hey guys, it's Catch Cow. Today I have a list of things to talk about. Probably not the list you're thinking of, but nonetheless, this is still pretty controversial and all pertaining to Microsoft. So, first off, what were they thinking with this graphic? Is it a cry for help disguised as a job listing? Are they really that desperate, or is the bar really that low? If you take a really good look at the graphic, I'm surprised it doesn't have a PlayStation logo instead of Xbox. Like, I really can't stress how bad this is. The most obvious thing to point out is the coating on the back of the monitor, which who knows, maybe Microsoft is cooking up transparent monitors. It looks like she's using earpods, which for one, Microsoft, for two, I really doubt Microsoft would let their employees listen to music on the job. They have her working on that baby ass transparent monitor, so I feel pretty safe in my assumption on that. It also looks like they didn't pay the AI enough to finish rendering the desk. And now I'm just nitpicking, but it really bothers me that her sweater's the same color as the background. Whatever AI prompt they used, I'm surprised they didn't make her skin color and the desk match. And no, it's not fake. Here it is on LinkedIn with a few funny comments. Lewis says, "Congrats on the hiring push, Mike. Though the times feel surreal given Microsoft's 9,000 layoffs on July 2nd, 2025, including the shutdown of the initiative Perfect Dark and cuts at turn 10, Forza, the AI generated graphic, backward monitor, warped keyboard, unintentionally underscores why human artists slash designers matter, especially after Xbox lost so many to strategic growth pivots." Peter says, "Are you serious? You work for Xbox Graphics and you used AI to generate slop that can't even get how a monitor works? Pathetic." Conrad says, "Hello. I'd like to ask if having the monitor face away from me is a mandatory job requirement." So yeah, pretty much all of the comments are talking about the layoffs and how much of an AI slop this graphic is. And obviously they're cooking Mike. So jokes aside, Microsoft, the second largest company based on market cap in the world, is laying off more employees. And if you've been keeping up with Microsoft and you're not a goldfish, you'll know this isn't anything new. And you'll probably recall in 2023, the year after Microsoft announced they would acquire Activision Blizzard, they had fired 10,000 employees and over 2,500 more in 2024. In May of this year, Microsoft had announced they'd be laying off around 6,000 of their employees. But the gifts keep on giving. Just like Lewis told us, now it's more like the tune of 9,000. But wait, there's more. According to sources spoken to by mobilegamer.biz, the 200 laid off developers from Activision's King have been replaced with their own AI. If you're not familiar with King as a developer, you'll probably know at least one of their games, Candy Crush. But you shouldn't feel bad for them because all is well. Xbox CEO Phil Spencer said we have more players, games, and gaming hours than ever before, and that Microsoft's platform, hardware, and game roadmap have never looked stronger. But seriously, it seems insane to me with all the Call of Duty AI BS, and job security just isn't a thing for these people anymore while mega corporations continue to break records. But like I said, it's nothing new. We saw what these big companies did for COVID. I don't blame Microsoft for raising the prices on most of their hardware. I don't think anyone expected them to eat the cost of tariffs. But I definitely blame them between all the AI slop in Call of Duty, that graphic we looked at, and replacing their employees with AI. Next, I want to talk about something that I don't use personally, but I do kind of like the idea of, which is Game Pass. If you are a Game Pass user, you probably know there was a price increase last year, despite the Game Pass subscriber count growing to a whopping 34 million subscribers. They still decided to raise Game Pass Ultimate's price from $17 to $20 a month. And according to an Xbox project manager, it's more like 35 million subscribers this year, so I'm thinking that the rumors of another price increase don't seem that far off. So how I said, even though I don't use Game Pass, I still like the idea of it. That's easy for me to say as a gamer. I'm not the one losing my job over it. And I stand by the idea of Game Pass being a good idea, but with Microsoft being who they are, maybe it just can't work out in practice. Arcade founder and former Dishonored and Prey developer Rafael Colantonio posted an X-Creed on X saying, "I think Game Pass is an unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite money, but at some point reality has to hit. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. They'll either deal everyone else or give up." He goes on to say in the comments that it's a long game that involves throwing a tsunami at the entire ecosystem of the industry Only the gamers like it because the offer is too good to be true, but eventually even gamers will hate it when they realize the effects on the game. And people go on to argue with him in the comments, but I mean, he's right. They're still not profitable after 8 years, and yeah, you know, there's other gaming streaming services, but if you step back and look at streaming as a whole, look at all the giants in the industry: Microsoft, Disney, Paramount, Peacock. They've all lost billions on streaming. I don't know, it's crazy. It's like some people really take it upon themselves to sit there and defend these mega corporations. Like, what are they doing for you? Cranking out broken, buggy, unoptimized games and selling you Beavis and Butthead skins? That's what you want? And speaking of unoptimized, it brings me to the final thing I want to talk about. Microsoft and Nvidia are working on software to reduce VRAM usage by up to 90%. On X, at OpenAlley has made an excrete where he had downloaded a preview driver to use Nvidia's neural texture compression with Microsoft's DXR 1.2. Even on such an early build, his results seemed promising. I'd highly recommend you go check out the full excrete. And yes, I was trying to avoid pronouncing his full name. I try not to be so doom and gloom. There's enough of that on YouTube, but I'm honestly not too hopeful about this software, because no matter how good it could be, let's be honest, it'll probably just lead to games being rushed even further and the software making up for the unoptimized parts, which is kind of how it already is. But even if you get the best hardware and you have frame generation, you have DLSS, still can't muscle your way, and you still can't frame generate your way to the gaming experience you paid for. I'm old enough to still remember games like Battlefield 3 that looked amazing and felt amazing and were actually optimized. You didn't need the best hardware at the time to try to even run the game. I mean, hell, they actually made the game even run and look good on PS3. Have you seen Black Ops 6 on PS4? It's embarrassing. But yeah, I really hope I'm wrong about it and the software leads to some good things. Anyways, are you guys hopeful for Nvidia and Microsoft software to help the VRAM issue plaguing a lot of modern games? Do you think Microsoft is cooked, or do you think it'll continue to be business as usual? Let me know what you think in the comments, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. But until next time, peace.